Her name used to be Kemi, but that was before she decided to leave everything behind. She moved to a big city with a single suitcase and a small bag of coins. She did not tell anyone where she was going. She told herself, if I start again, I can become anyone I want. So she changed small things first: a different haircut, a new email, and a new phone number. She used the name Miss K at work and nodded when neighbors asked where she came from. People accepted the short answers. They never pushed. Kemi got a job at a small skincare shop on a busy street. The shop smelled of lemon and coconuts. The owner, a quiet woman named Sadie, liked Kemi's hands because they were careful and steady. Kemi quickly learned the business, product name, which cream to recommend for dry skin, when to tell customers, use this one at night. She smiled at every face that walked in and wrapped each purchase neatly, as if she was hiding a secret inside every bag. But when the night came and the street light dimmed, she climbed the narrow stairs to her small apartment. There, she would sit in front of her mirror, a small round one on a wooden table, and take off her wig. She would wipe up her makeup slowly until her bare face stared back. Under the tired face was the same woman who once cried herself to sleep. The woman who left a cruel relationship. The same man she loved had humiliated her. He used her, shared private things about her, laughed when she begged him to stop. When she finally left, he spread lies until half the city laughed at her pain. So she disappeared. She believed that if she erased her past, the laughter would fade. If she changed her face, her name, her accent, maybe she could live again. The first months were quiet. She learned how to stay invisible, keeping her eyes low on the bosses, laughing politely at work, never visiting the same place twice. She didn't drink. She didn't attend parties. She just worked, saved, and kept her past locked away. But one cold evening, something happened. An older woman walked into the skincare shop. She moved slowly, scanning the ranks. After a moment, her attention rested on Kemi. You remind me of someone who vanished years ago, the woman said softly. Kemi froze. A wave of fear passed through her. Her first instinct was to run. Then she took a breath and answered quietly. Maybe she needed to run. The woman smiled gently, her eyes tired but kind. Aren't we all running from something? That sentence hit Kemi deeply. It stayed with her long after the woman left. That night, she sat by her table, opened an old notebook from her university days, and began to write. She wrote names she had buried, places she had avoided, and the word she had not said in years. She wrote about the lies, the pain, and the betrayal. Each line felt like air leaving a wound she had kept close too long. Writing did not solve everything, but it helped her breathe again. It allowed her to speak, if not to the world, then to herself. On Sundays, she began volunteering at Women's Center. The first day, she felt out of place, as if she didn't belong among the women who came for help. Until then, when a young woman with a baby smiled and whispered, "Thank you for coming," Kemi felt something inside her soften. She kept going back. One day, she saw a young girl crying on the floor, eyes swollen. Kemi walked over, knelt, and wrapped a blanket around her, and she said gently, "You can start again." The girl lifted her head and asked in a trembling voice, "How? How do you start when you have lost everything?" Kemi paused. She didn't have a perfect answer, only truth. "Start by being kind to yourself," she said softly. "Small steps, one day at a time." The girl nodded. Then she leaned against Kemi's shoulder and fell asleep. Kemi stayed there until the center closed. Helping others gave her a mirror, a reflection of what healing looked like. She realized that true change isn't about forgetting pain, it's about carrying it differently with care until it no longer defines you. Over time, people noticed Kemi's peace. Sadie, her boss, said one morning, "You look different lately." Kemi smiled. "I am learning to live again." She began to let her natural hair show, stop hiding behind wigs and filter, and she started taking evening walks after work. She created a playlist of songs that made her happy. She took photos of ordinary things, a bakery window, a child laughter, the glow of street lights after rain. One day, a podcast host invited her to share her story. At first, she wanted to refuse. She thought speaking meant opening wounds. But she thought of women at the Women's Center and the girl she comforted, and she said yes. She spoke with courage, not about revenge, but about recovering, about how shame tried to silence you, and how silence can destroy you faster than pain. Messages came in. "Thank you for speaking. I left my abusive home last month. I am learning to forgive myself. Your story gave me strength." Then, one evening, she received a message from her mother, the woman she hadn't spoken to in years, and she said, "I saw you on the podcast. Come home, please. We miss you. Nobody is perfect. We are sorry that we judge you. Please, my daughter, come home." Kemi cried. She typed one word, "soon." When she finally returned home, her mother stood at the gate, older and quieter. They hugged in silence. No long explanation, no blame. Her mother made tea and they sat together as if time had paused. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't need words, it just needs presence. Years later, Kemi started a small program called Self Steps, teaching women how to read contracts, use phone safely, and protect their privacy. She wanted women to know their power, the kind she had once given away. At the first class, a shy young woman walked in, eyes full of fear. By the end of the day, she smiled and said, "You made me believe I can start again." That night, Kemi walked home through the city lights, feeling grateful. The city was still noisy, messy, alive. Sometimes she wore makeup, sometimes she didn't. Not because she was hiding anymore, but because she chose when and how to shine. She finally understood that power isn't in changing who you are, it's in accepting every version of yourself that survived. One quiet night, she opened her old notebook and wrote one last sentence. "Healing is not becoming someone else. It is remembering who you were before they hurt you and choosing to stay." She closed the book gently, turned off the lights, and smiled as the city hummed outside her window. She had changed her face once to hide. Now she carried it proudly, not as a disguise, but as a proof of how far she had come.